Hi, I'm Bob Trask. This is our weekly reset. Today, we're going to talk about something you're going to love. It's mindfulness. And mindfulness expands life. Did you know that? It actually expands life. Mindfulness is another word for consciousness. And sometimes being mindful, being totally aware, can be challenging, but life is that's life. Life is sometimes painful. Sometimes it even feels overwhelming, doesn't it? And that makes it really hard to get our emotional balance. But it's during those times when being mindful, being in the moment, being in gratitude can seem impossible. But what if we could live daily in such a way that those challenges were met automatically? In other words, rather than come to each incident in life, this terrible thing happened, or I didn't get sleep last night, or something happened, or whatever that knocked me off balance, that so my whole day is ruined, or I feel terrible for a while, or maybe all day, or maybe for a week. And what if there was a way to train ourselves so that every day, we became a little more joyful, a little more playful, a little happier, and that those things from the outside that come bouncing in there to try to destroy us, what if those things just bounced off? What if those things didn't have an effect on us? And what if it didn't take a huge amount of work to create that lifestyle, that mindfulness? And when I say mindfulness, we might think that, gosh, he's talking about some kind of really weird, uh, ethereal, metaphysical something. I'm really not. I'm really not. What I'm talking about is simply being aware of what's going on right now. And pardon me if this sounds rude, but you're not being aware right now. You're feel yourself, feel the room around you. Use your peripheral vision, not just your forward vision. Use your peripheral vision. What's around you? What's happening? In this space around you, filled with electronic energy, filled with grace, filled with the presence of, of the divine. Are you aware of that? Am I aware of that? Because that's mindfulness. There's two ways to live. We can either live in proaction or we can live in reaction. And when I'm in reaction, I'm defensive. I'm always defensive. And I'm easily hurt. I'm easily knocked out of balance. And then my world around me is in charge. Then my career and my daily life are all challenges. And yes, challenges can make me stronger. And yeah, challenges are a necessary part of life. But when they dwarf me, when they make me small, when they make me feel incomplete and unable to overcome them, then I lose myself. And I become smaller and smaller, and my life and my confidence shrinks. And I want to ask you right now, I know this isn't true for your whole life. I already know that. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be watching this if you weren't already well on your way to enlightenment. But I'm going to ask you this one question. And that's, is there some area in your life, not your whole life, but some area in your life that just plagues you? Just one area that just is filled with doubt and some fear, and that one area. Well, what I'm talking about is, let's heal that area. Let's heal any of those areas that knock you off balance, that make you feel like you're incomplete. We can do that. Eckhart Tolle said, in today's rush, we all think too much, seek too much, want too much, and forget the joy of just being. So when I'm wanting something, whether it's I want to make more money, or I want to get more money, or I want to sell this thing of mine and get some money from it, or I want to buy a car, or I want to visit a friend, or I want to go have a nice meal out, or whatever that something is that's going on, let it be done with joy. Let it be done with a feeling that this is life, and I'm living life. I'm alive right now. I'm alive. I can feel around me the, the rush of life. I can feel the trees growing. I can feel the wind. I can feel the people. I can feel the air. I look around this room that I'm in right now. It's just filled with treasures, with plaques on the wall, and and pictures and computers and all this wonderful, wonderful stuff. And it all represents who I am. They're all accomplishments of what I am and what I've done. In the room you're sitting in right now, the same thing's going on. This room and everything in this room that you're in right now is a representation of you, of your magnificence. And it ain't a big deal. It ain't a big deal. It's just that if you notice that, then you notice that you're accumulating as you move through life certain treasures. And what's true about treasures is that they come into our life, and then we should be able to let them go because they aren't who we are. They're just representations of who we are. Eckhart Tolle, let me repeat that again. In today's rush, we all think too much, seek too much, want too much, and forget the joy of just being. Mindfulness is a simple platform of consciousness. And it's one that we can practice daily that allows us to look back objectively at the world around us. It not only stops us from being victims of changes, it changes the situations themselves. In other words, we live in a world of relationships, don't we? Like our relationships with people, our relationships with animals, and it goes farther than that. My relationship with nature, because my relationship with nature actually affects nature. We should know that by now. We know about climate change, so we know that our presence has an effect on nature around us, not just from greenhouse gases, but just in our attitudes. How many people here have been aware of the fact that you can actually change the life of a plant by loving that plant, by talking to that plant, by actually loving that plant? It's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. I know that because not only have done it, but I still do it. And it changes the life of those plants, changes how they are, changes how they grow, changes how they produce. When I'm conscious of this moment of now, and I'm living in this moment of now and not in expectations that something else is going to come along, some magical something is going to happen, or if only I can solve this problem. What if you never solve that problem? What if it never gets solved? Then who are you? Then who am I? If it never gets solved, can I still be happy? Can I still be joyous? If you didn't sleep last night, because you were in pain, or you were laboring over some problem, if you didn't sleep last night, are you still awake? Or is this still your life? And can you still be present in your life? And here's what happens to me, and it might happen to you as well, is that when when I feel slightly out of balance, rather than be present right now, mindful of right now, everything that's going on right now, exactly as it is, not as I want it to be, not as I expect it to be, but exactly as it is right now. When I'm in that place, right, that place, then everything settles down. Everything settles down. I'm in the moment of here and now, right here, right now. Everything settles down. It's no big deal anymore. It's just no big deal anymore. When I'm conscious of this moment of now, then I'm in charge of my life. Then I'm in charge of my life. When I'm in this conscious moment of right now, I'm back in charge of my life. What am I in charge of? What am I in charge of? I'm in charge of how I experience life. How I experience life. And the way I experience life affects life itself. Life changes as I change my attitude. I begin to see the world with all of its many, many diverse faces, not just the ones that directly affect me. And that brings balance. There's always balance, but if I'm only looking at the darkness, if I'm only looking at the imbalance, then I don't see the balance. If I'm looking at the darkness, I can't see the light. I want to see how life is actually harmonizing and balancing all the time. It's balancing, it's harmonizing, it's coming back into balance. I love this metaphor, and I've said it so many times, forgive me if you've heard it, that I'm walking along a mountain trail. Boy, I've done lots and lots of backcountry hiking and camping and living in the wilderness. It's just nothing like it. But if I'm walking along a path and I look and there's this beautiful placid lake, and on the other side of it is a towering mountain with snow on the top, and that's reflected in the lake perfectly. And I pick up a pine cone and throw it, and it hits the lake. It shatters that beautiful view. It 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 destroys that thing that I loved. But if I watch for a few minutes, it'll all come back together and be perfect again. And that's what's going on. Is that even when things seem a little bit out of balance, they rebalance. When your life feels like it's out of balance, when things are problematic, it rebalances. But it can only rebalance if you are balanced, if I am balanced. So we have to come back into harmony with what is, not be in discordance. When I'm being mindful, I'm in charge of who or what's affecting my life. Every day I'm accepting what's in that larger picture, the bigger picture, the whole of the world, the whole of life, the whole of the universe, the whole of eternity. And I'm flowing my thoughts into the river of life with trust and with delight. Isn't it true that most of us have a parent voice that's talking to us inside? Like, and I know for me, I heard my mom as a voice for years and years and years. What are you doing? Get off that. Leave that alone. Just look at now, just look what you've done here. I could hear her voice. Now, I don't mean to say that my mom was always scolding me, but those are the voices that stuck with me. And as I got older, I had a tendency to think that was still mama's voice, but you know what? It wasn't. It was my voice. And that mama's voice, that papa's voice that you hear, that's long, 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 long time ago stopped being their voice. I shouldn't accuse you of that. I just should speak about myself. I find that I'm still trying to prove myself sometimes. I never had a father, but my uncles were really important to me. And I find a lot of times that I'm doing things and I can hear their voices. I can hear their sometimes ridicule of how screwed up I was, or I can hear other things from them. And that long, long time, they're all dead. That a long, long time ago stopped being their voice. Now it's my voice. So what voice inside of you? What urgency inside of you tells you that you're not whole, perfect, and complete exactly the way you are. You're a gift. You're a gift. You're a gift to this universe. You're a gift to me. You're a gift to your family. You're a gift to your friends. You're a gift to people that you don't even know. Your presence here makes a difference. How do I know that? Because you're so unique. Like if there's 10 trees growing in the forest, it balances because each one of them is different. Because each one of them is different, and together they make up the harmony. And I'm talking about harmony. So if somebody's singing on da, 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 those harmonize, but they're different. They're different. And who you are is perfect exactly the way you are. And you're the only one in all of time and space. You're the only one. There's never will be another you. So you're perfect. But if you're not living in that realization of your perfection, then you're constantly trying. You know, I'm going to talk in a minute about meditation. I remember an old story about this guy that went to his meditation teacher and he said, if I really try really hard, can I reach enlightenment in 5 years? And the guy said, no. The guy said, well, if I try really hard, can I reach enlightenment in 10 years? And the guy said, no. Because see, you can't reach enlightenment. Because enlightenment is who you already are. You already are enlightenment. You can't come to Bob Trask or go to some other spiritual leader and have them help you become enlightened because you're already enlightened. You've done amazing things with your life up until now. Amazing. You've overcome obstacle after obstacle after obstacle. And a lot of times you were in fear when you were doing it. And a lot of times you were probably in semi-depression when you did it, and you still did it. And you're still doing it. You're amazing. You're amazing. So living off balance emotionally, it isn't necessary. And it makes life painful. And that's neither appropriate nor is it necessary. Let's go a little deeper. Everything we think of has consequences, doesn't it? Every single thing we do, everything we think of, every thought has consequences. And we're dancing in harmony with the universe, with this immaculate universe. We feel blessed and empowered. And then each one of those thoughts goes up like the branches of a tree, and that branch creates another branch, and the consequences of my thinking a certain way. The consequences creates a lattice work of other consequences, of other thought patterns, of other creations, and it just reaches up into the sky of the universe, and it just makes your presence here such an incredible blessing. But when I'm in doubt and fear, and when I'm not liking myself, or I'm judging myself, or I'm judging other people around me, or I'm judging the world, then what I'm doing is I'm still creating branches, but they're called roots, and they go down into the soil, down deep into the darkness of my soul. Our self-judgments change into a realization that we're exactly perfect the way we are. And our heart lights come on, and we feel anchored in our honest place in this reality. So I can only speak to you from my experience, and my experience has been with other people because I've got a few 100,000 graduates around the planet, and I've learned from them, and I've learned from my own life, and I've been through so much, and I've learned from what I've gone through. But the one thing that is more important, I want to say more important, then all the lessons I've learned, all the experiences I've had, all of the thousands of people that I've interfaced with and listened to and brought their stories into my heart and grown from those, all of those, the one thing that's the most important is being right here, right now. It on the head of this pin called this instant. And it's and if I'm in that moment, I don't even want to say moment. If I'm in that, if I'm in that place of now, that constant place of now, then life still swims by me, but it doesn't affect me. It doesn't destroy me. It doesn't take me away from who I am. I don't become life. I am me in life. I don't know if I'm making sense, but when I'm in this moment of now, and things are going on around me, I don't get out of this moment of now and become swirled around in those things. I stay in the moment of now and allow those things to be blessed experiences for me that grow me. But I need to be now. And some people say, well, but there is no such thing as now. There is now. Here, let me prove it. Right now is now, isn't it? Right now. And it's still now, isn't it still now? And is it still now? And see, it's always now. If I can just stay in now and let everything else happen around me, then I become the experiencer of the observer of those things. And they come to me and they help me grow in wisdom and in joy. But I have to be able to stay in now. And that's mindfulness. Because when I'm in that place of now, then I can really see what's going on around me. Then I can really know what's happening around me. Then I can really have an experience of life going on around me. But when I'm not in the moment of now, and when I'm not in mindfulness, then I'm becoming banged around by the events of life, and I'm no longer observing. I'm like a ping pong ball batted back and forth across the table. So let's realize today that our mindfulness creates an attitude, and that attitude becomes the tree of our life. Our self-trust and self-loving thoughts are branches of ourselves reaching up and creating more and more branches until our very presence reflects into the world that great tree of life, that great tree of who we've become, standing against the universal sky as our blessing to the world. And let's not be roots. Let's not go down into the darkness of our souls. Tamara Levitt said, every time we ponder a thought, act on an impulse, dwell on a desire, we're setting in motion a cause that will have a future effect. Every time we ponder a thought, act on an impulse, or dwell on a desire, we're setting in motion a cause that will have a future effect. Mindfulness enables us to choose wisely. Our minds sometimes like driverless cars. You could think of a driverless car as one that's been programmed. It's been programmed to react in certain ways to certain outside incidents. And our minds are sometimes like driverless cars. They're on automatic. They automatically react. Or are we in the driver's seat? Are we looking at each new incident in life as something different and new and reacting in a different way with each one of those so that we're taking all those and making threads of them and bringing together and weaving the tapestry of our lives rather than having a big jumble of gnarled, knotted up um, stuff. I'm asking us to get in the driver's seat of our lives by simply practicing mindfulness. The thing about a driverless mind is that it'll only go where it's been programmed by memories. So we're not then, so then, if this is a car and it's only been programmed by, then it goes around the block, round and around and around the block, because that's what it remembers. And that's what you and I quite often do, is that we do the same thing and the same thing and the same thing and the same thing and the same thing. We think the same thoughts. We now know from actual studies that 95% of the thoughts that we had yesterday are the thoughts we have today and the thoughts we'll have tomorrow. What, this is automatically programmed car. We're just going around in circles. How about we see it differently? How about we look differently, think differently, imagine differently, be in the moment of now and be the creator of our reality. Then it gets exciting. Then life gets exciting. Like when we were 3-year-old kids and we were looking at, tasting everything, feeling everything, so curious. Get back into that. Mindfulness frees us from that old automatic program and allows us to imagine new destinations and then go create them. Mindful then is the practice of paying attention to the present moment exactly as it is, not as we judge it to be, but as it truly is, without our judgments. Then we look at our old programs objectively, and we quietly observe our sensory experiences, thoughts, and emotions as they arise, and we're being honest with ourselves, not judging, enjoying those that we like and forgiving those that we don't. And we're fully engaged right now, right here, and we're in the driver's seat and being neither guided nor led by the past or the future. And there's a beautiful thing about mindfulness, about living without judgments. It actually changes the structures of our brains, and it changes our brain's functions. And those changes result in increased attention, memory, and emotional regulation. Mindfulness strengthens the brain pathways and reduces stress. It clarifies focus. It clarifies our ability to see, and it clarifies our mood. And this message today gives us an opportunity to totally change our lives for the better. We'll find ourselves becoming kinder, calmer, more patient, more playful. We'll find more joy in friendships and enjoy deeper and more relaxing sleep. And I think one of the main ways of doing that is by meditation. So please, even if you don't feel like you can meditate, practice meditation. Thich Nhat Hanh said, drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it were the axis upon what the world revolves. Am I talking about the here and now? As if it is the axis on which the world revolves. Slowly, evenly, without rushing toward the future. Live in the actual moment, only in this moment of life. He also said, every step taken in mindfulness brings us one step closer to healing ourselves and our planet. So today and this week, I'm going to make an exceptional effort to stay in the moment of now and to feel the joy, the splendor of life around me, and stop judging it. Stop looking at it and putting it in boxes and saying, well, this is like this and this is like it. No, just stop. That's all mind junk. Just let it be what it is and observe it and drink it in and watch how it balances. Watch how everything heals, like the lake in the high country, how it heals, how everything is just perfect the way it is. And be one with that what is. Thank you. Thanks for being with me. Now, if this has been good for you, if you've enjoyed this talk, if you feel like maybe it's made a difference in your life, would you please go to bobtrask.com and leave a donation, or not? If that doesn't work for you, that's okay. But if you can leave a donation, it'll help us expand our work in the world. And I appreciate it. Thank you for being with me. I'll see you next week.